I'm
Oh,
Floyd Von Terror.
I'm Killa Cat.
This is the TerrorScene podcast. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 0, The Hosts. We're here
Hi.
to introduce ourselves. Kill a Cat. We're
What's up?
jumping right into it.
Make me do it
How
first.
long have you been into fucking horror?
Since I was a wee baby lass, little baby. It was my grandma started me off on like Alfred Hitchcock and like Vincent Price and Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. The good old classics. And then as I got older, creepier stuff. So like 4 or 5, long time.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
33, so.
That's fucking awesome. I definitely didn't get that start.
Oh, how'd you get
I
your
would have
start?
loved to fucking start with like Vincent Price and like all like the Universal monsters and shit like that. Like I would have loved that, but I started off with like Jason was the first. Jason, Child's Play, um, and Freddy Krueger I think were the first ones, and it was like me sneaking like back in the day, like when they used to have like those marathons, like Friday the 13th or like Halloween
Yeah.
was coming up or something, and like the late night, like Saturday night, it would have like a marathon and Elvira was hosting, and like you just see
Yes.
like a bunch of like movies playing. Like that's where I got my
Yeah.
first glimpse of. I guess I was introduced to Jason and Elvira at the same fucking time. That's I never even thought about that. But
There you go. I think
yeah,
that's
that's where
rad.
I started was like Friday the 13th and shit.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I got lucky.
Well, that I mean that's fucking awesome though. Like I I love that. Like
Yeah, it
Vincent
was.
Price is one of those fucking one of a kind, like once in a lifetime actors, and like I wish
Yes.
I would have been more familiar with him when I was younger.
Yes. He's the calmer side of horror. Like, he's the king of horror. He absolutely is. And he started it all. He's calmer. It's not as crazy. So my grandma started me off on stuff like that. And as I got older, she was like, here's Hellraiser, which, not gonna lie, Hellraiser scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. It was the first one to ever scare me.
That's fucking crazy that your grandmother got you into that stuff.
She was rad. She was the coolest lady.
I got myself into it. Like my parents didn't even want me watching it, and like my dad didn't even like horror movies, but my mom would throw them on once in a while, like during those like little marathons and stuff around
Yeah.
Halloween. And like I was supposed to be in bed, like I would just like my bedroom was upstairs, and I'd come sneaking down the stairs and peeking over the railing and like watching some of it. Like
Uh,
that was how I got introduced, and it was years before they like actually let me start watching scary
oh,
movies.
I think that's a lot of people's first beginnings is sneaking, gonna peek over the banisters, going, "Oh, what's that? I can't watch this, but I'm gonna watch it." I think that's most kids, but I got one of the lucky ones. So
That's awesome though. Uh, my grandmother, when I ended up living with her for a few years once I got to middle school, and one of the first things when I moved in there, like she was a pack rat. She had a ton of shit, lots of old VHS. She had like a Night Stalker news thing that she had recorded on VHS during like
what?
live, like when it was airing. Like just recorded the news, and like I think we still have that VHS somewhere.
That's so
Um,
cool.
yeah, but she like had a bunch of old VHSs and stuff. She had newspapers, she had books, and I remember one of the first things that got me fascinated with like just the whole mindset of it was I found Helter Skelter, the book,
Mm,
and I started reading it, and then got to the pictures area of like in the center of that book there's a whole
yeah.
pictures area, and like I got to that, and like all like the graphic stuff is whited out, but like you still it lets you paint this whole imagery in your head. Like you get, it's like a fill in the blank. So like you get like the background and everything, and it's like, what do you think this big blob of white was supposed to look like?
Yeah.
So like
Let your imagination do it.
that's a lot of the things with like Friday the 13th, where like a lot of those kills and stuff, when they're like not showing the whole thing, and it's just like you see them raise their hand up and get ready, and you just hear a scream or something like that. You get that vivid imagination going and start filling that in, and that's one of the things I love about horror. And I think books are what did that to me.
Hey,
but I do like that. But those older horror movies, like Vincent Price and Bela Lugosi and all those older actors, like a lot of their stuff was like off-camera stuff that it was just more of you fill in the blanks. We're gonna build it up for you, and you do with it what you want in your head.
Yeah,
And
spooky.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of started leading into what was my question's going to be is the true crime. When did you start leaning into that?
So yeah, that was, like I said, my grandmother had those VHSs in Helter Skelter, and I think I fell in love with that book. A lot of people talk shit about Helter Skelter as a book because of like the siding and stuff like that. Like a lot of real diehard horror fans and stuff. I like it for what it is, because if you're just getting lost in the book, it's a great fucking read, and like your mind is going a million miles an hour, just like because you have exact times, dates, and stuff, and that aspect of true crime, like, and where I was in my life, I was like a teenager. I was 13 years old, and like being able to have all of those details, like, made it so fucking vivid, and like I just wanted more of the, and like then reading some of those newspaper clippings, or not clippings. I don't want to make my grandmother sound
You want to make yourself like a crazy lady?
I don't want to make her sound like a crazy lady. She had tons. She was a fucking hoarder, and she had a ton of newspapers and a ton of VHS and all this other stuff. But I found the dark side of everything, and these newspapers, the full newspapers, would have like just what the news is willing to give you about some of these scenes, and then I. That's why I found Helter Skelter so much cooler as a gateway, because I could get more into the mind of what was going on, and I started finding like serial killers and stuff like that fascinating, just because of their whole, where their heads are, like what is making them do this, like. And the Manson family to this date is probably one of my favorite. I don't want to say favorite because I don't have a favorite serial killer or anything, because that's like, it's a fucking awful thing to say. I don't root for any of them, but the most fascinating to me is the Manson family. And I don't know if that's because it was the first thing that I experienced as far as like learning about, or the fact that it's the whole brainwashing thing, and he had a whole community of people that followed his every fucking word. And like, it's like, how does not only one person do that, but then you convince a bunch of other people to follow that? That's just crazy to me.
I mean, a lot of it was drugs and hallucinogenics.
Yes.
And, you know, but I love Manson too. Like, I don't love him. Again, here we go with I find his story fascinating, and how that man could drag that many people into following his crazy shit. Like, I loved it, but it's also at the same time, it's like, how weak-minded do you have to be? Like, what head space were you in when you entered that? You're gonna run away with this dude in a hippie van that's like, hey, come with me, I got drugs.
Yeah, that's well, I mean, like the whole drug thing, that was something that I guess, I don't know all the details. I guess all of them were very fucked up all the time. But
Constantly.
even as years went on, they weren't always fucked up, and they were still like supporting. Like they would be in jail and shit, and still supporting him. And it's like, did the drugs fuck you up that much that you're continuing to support him, or are you just fucking crazy and you think that that's like a proper way of thinking?
A bit of both, I think,
Yeah,
honestly.
maybe. Maybe. Either way, they're all fucking nut jobs, but it's very fascinating, and
Is
I like movies and shit where you get that whole, you get a made up character like fucking Jason or Michael Myers or whatever, but they have a lot of these characteristics of people from real life true crime stories, and it's like, man, I think that's what makes me more fascinated by them is, well, now I've got the true crime that I'm like into their brain, like wanting to know how that works. And then I've got these for entertainment, and it's like, okay, well, that's a win-win for me.
yeah, there you go. No, it's totally a win-win.
Um, but like even in music, where you and I met,
Yes.
we
I love
have
music.
a lot of true crime, and then you get Amigo the Devil, for example.
Yes.
That's where we met, is the Fellowship on Facebook. It's a
Love you guys.
fan group for Amigo the Devil, and it's a cult. It's a fucking cult. Hashtag not a cult.
It's totally a cult.
But his music, like he writes about true crime. He writes about serial killers and stuff. But then he also does this whole fictional thing where like he'll put himself in the mind of a serial killer and create this whole brand new story that's it's not following anything that's already out there, but it seems like true crime because he's so fucking graphic with the way that he sings everything, and it's so vivid.
Beautiful.
You just get lost in it, and you think, man, is he writing a song about something he read about? No, he's inspired by that to write these stories, but this is all made up by him.
Yeah, no, and his mind is so brilliant, and we could go on and on about him for days. So, and we will in the next episode.
Yes, that will be that'll definitely be one to tune into, because
It will.
I can't wait to talk about him and a few others that have really, during a time that I was kind of, I don't know, not me, not really like paying too much attention to horror and what was going on in the horror industry. I just kind of started like taking a step back, and then like got introduced to Amigo the Devil, and then like it all came rushing in. It's like, where's all my fucking serial killer stuff and all my fucking like slasher memorabilia and all this stuff? Like, where is it all? I had to like pull everything out and like, man, why is this not hanging up on the wall? Why is this not out where I can see it all the time? Because it's such a big part of my life. Like, I love horror. It's probably, as far as things that I look for in entertainment or hobbies or whatever, horror is my number one go-to.
Yes. No, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But no. It's just me. All right, we got
there's
I'm sorry.
Who's that? Who is that?
Mac.
Mac.
My big fat Mac boy. Yeah, like Mac from Always
Look at him
Sunny.
just staring at the camera.
He's a dork. And if you can see, there's Lily back there. She's actually named after Lily Munster.
Ah.
Yeah.
The one you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, she's my turd and I love her. Got Herman too, but he's around somewhere.
Mine are not anywhere near me. My cats are on the other side of the room. Both of them are curled up in ball sleeping. One is Shemaya Strange. She's named after Otep Shemaya.
Yes.
And Emily Strange is how we came up with
Emily
her name.
Strange.
And then we have Asuka, which is named after the wrestler in WWE, the female wrestler. My two dogs, one's name is Rashka. She's named after the wolves in Jungle Book, but their names are Raksha, and we changed it up to be Rashka.
Okay.
Because we liked the flow of it better, and it went
Yeah.
better with Asuka, our cat.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good with the cat's name.
Yeah, and then we have my favorite animal of ours is my dog Dillinger. He's Dillinger CL. He's named after John Dillinger and the Dillinger Escape Plan, which is named after John Dillinger as well, and CL from Black Butler, the anime. So they all have kind of like darker themes to their names.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, mine are named after an old 60s sitcom, and we didn't give Mac his name, but it fits, so.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, he's a big fat ass.
Well, what all, I guess we call them outlets or whatever, for what all kinds of horror are you into? Like movies, music, like what else?
All of it. I love
all of it.
I love it all. I love books, I love movies, I love TV series, I love comic books, love horror, I love dark stuff. I just love it. And like true crime was didn't come into like loving it until I got a little bit older and could actually understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I became obsessed very quickly. As you know, with old Killer Corner. I love it all. But my favorite's probably just movies. I gotta love all, like I said earlier, with the classics, you gotta love those, and then you gotta love the newer ones that they're coming out with. Good ones, because there are some terrible ones. We'll talk about those.
We will talk about them.
I know.
Other episodes. There's lots of stuff that we have planned out. It's gonna be very fun, I think, for both of us.
Yes.
Where we just rip apart different things,
Oh,
talk about things we like, talk about things we like, talk about things we don't like. Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, no, it'll be a blast.
But I'm pretty sure everything, like just like you, like fucking everything.
All
Poetry. When I was in school, like I just wanted to read poetry by Poe, and like that. Like I don't want to do anything else. I just want to read that. And when I'm listening to music, I was listening to like White Zombie or Marilyn Manson or whatever in high school. Like when I was watching movies, it was fucking Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Like everywhere and when I was drawing, I was just drawing like these morbid fucking drawings, skulls and shit like that. Like everything every outlet I could find was horror for me.
Yeah. Oh, same. I've always been the same way, and I always love how there's so many different genres of horror. You know, like you have, true crime, as messed up as it is to say, that is horror in its own. It's terrifying. It's real life horror. And then
Scariest
you've got
horror.
Campy horror. Yeah, it's terrifying. But then you've got campy horror, B-rate horror films. I don't know about you, but I love me some Trauma.
Yes. We just watched some the other day.
They're awful, but they're so good. Love campy stuff like that. And I mean, my favorite movie in the whole wide world is actually You're Wearing the Shirt. So it's my favorite movie in the whole world. I love that movie.
I was literally just listening to. Here we go again. All aspects of life
Nice.
being horror. Earlier today, I was just listening just to the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not. There's a couple bands on there that I would listen to their whole albums all the way through, but like there's a bunch of things on there that like I only know them from that movie, but I love them.
Yes. So I have actually, this was right here, so I can show that off a little bit. It's,
Oh, trash!
yeah,
Look at it.
love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have a Danny Trejo too, belongs in there
He's
too.
he's horror too.
I love Danny Trejo. That's my boy. Love him.
Fucking awesome.
Oh,
I
for sure.
have. Uh, there we go. I've got this butte. Try and
That's
angle it so
gorgeous.
that the fucking light doesn't blur it out. But that's Kane Hodder. That's
Love
that's
him.
my dude.
Oh, I love
That's my
him.
dude. That's a
I've got a lot of dudes, but I love Kane Hodder too.
it's, it, and that's a real
Gorgeous.
one right there. Just autographed by the man.
Oh, that's so cool.
789X.
Yes. Love him. Kane Hodder's fantastic.
He's literally. I'm sure that'll be another topic, but he's literally the best Jason,
Yes,
hands down.
absolutely. Oh,
And his other characters, he brings an intimidating presence, which is something that's I think necessary in a lot of those slasher films. Like you got to have that intimidation factor as far and he just everything that he put together to make that character perfect. Like I wouldn't change a thing about it.
oh, for sure. I mean, my favorite role of his is in Chillerama. So
Yeah.
he plays the Jewish Frankenstein. So funny.
Oh man, I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, and he smashes.
Oh
He
man,
rips off Hitler's arm and beats him with it, and then
I
does a little
I have
Jewish
to
dance
watch
on
that
him.
again, man. I have to fucking watch it again.
That is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I love that role. He's just so funny.
You were just talking about trauma. We just watched, I think on Tubi, we just watched Toxic Avenger
Nice.
and um, oh, the name escapes me. The high school
No.
one, the high school one.
Uh, Toxic High.
It it's worse. It's way worse than Toxic Avenger.
I know it's
And
awful.
oh man,
It's so good.
it's. I mean, it's fun to watch. We
Yeah,
also watched Sleepaway Camp recently too. I like throwing on the campy ones
every
in
once in a
between.
while.
Yeah, I can sit there and watch them all the fucking time, but my girlfriend likes to change it. Like if we're just watching campy all the time, she'll lose interest in it. Like I can have it on. I mean, and I'll start like moving on. Like I'll start picking up my phone and like looking at stuff, but like I'm still like I just know the movies so well,
Yeah,
so I can just kind of zone out watching them. But they're
yeah,
fun. They're fun. They're fun
love them.
background movies to have in the
Yeah,
background.
great.
Uh, like if you ever been to a Halloween party where somebody has like the house is dark or whatever, but they have a TV playing with a horror movie, but it's
Yeah,
muted. You can't hear the fucking movie, and they just
yeah.
have Halloween music playing. That's a great vibe to me, and those campy movies are
Yes.
perfect for that.
No, they are beyond perfect for that. I love it when like bands will use like old campy horror movies for like backdrops while they're playing. I think it's a great idea, and it fits so well.
Campy movies or those old black and white movies too.
Yes.
All of them. But
Love the
those
old black
they
and
can be one and the same sometimes as well. When you look at like Attack of the Giant, Gila Monster, and shit like all those old campy ass movies.
You know,
Black
like
and white and campy.
yeah, it's it is unfortunately a lot of those Universal monsters were so campy. They really were, but they're so classic and fantastic.
I mean, they're the Godfathers. They're the Godfathers. They're the Godfathers of all of it.
Yeah. No,
I mean, all those slashers that I'm into, those are all descendants of the Frankenstein's monster and shit.
We wouldn't have them if it weren't for those men. Like, they were all, especially Vincent Price. I mean, I'm probably just biased because I worship the ground that man used to walk on. But they were the best, so you gotta give them credit, or we wouldn't have what we have today.
100% agree.
Yeah, I'd be scared to see what horror would be without those classics. Trash.
Tell me about your tattoo stuff going on.
Oh, my chest?
What is all this tattoo stuff?
Oh, goodness. All of it. We're not getting into
that. We'll be here all night.
You're all
this is part 1 of episode 0.
Yeah. No, this is the most recent one. It's Doctor Who. It's nice. There's a few like creepy episodes of Doctor Who that are fantastic. It's a bunch of like clockwork and TARDIS, and it's painful.
It looks rad. I like it.
Yeah. I'm super excited to finish it.
I never got into Doctor Who, never watched any of it. I mean, I've seen clips, but like I've never sat down and watched an episode or anything. But clocks, I fucking love clocks.
Yes, I do too. I love
put a clock in horror, it's perfect.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't so into it in this new season of Stranger Things.
The clock?
Yeah, it weirded me out. I was like, what is going on with this thing? Why does it keep appearing?
I like it.
Like, I don't dislike it. I was just like, why?
I like the comparisons of a clock to a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like I like that aspect of it.
Yes. No, I like that too. It's just weird that it kept popping up, and I was like, what? What does it mean?
Well, I've definitely enjoyed that season so far.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for the second part. It's so good.
It's gonna be a pretty spectacular finish, I think.
Yeah, it's been a really emotional one too. Super emotional, and I've never wanted to protect a child so much in my life. Like Eddie, I just want to hide him in my basement.
Fucking Eddie. That's fucking funny.
I love him. Him and Argyle are my 2 new favorite characters.
That's
like,
fucking funny.
Argyle, that motherfucker cracks me up, fucking stoner.
I love Dustin, and
I love Dustin.
I love Max. Max is great, and I love the character development that she's undergone through the season since she debuted.
It's so well written this season.
Billy was fucking great. That was a character I loved to hate, and then fell in love with towards the end of that season. It was like, man, this is a great fucking character.
Yeah, no, he was a really good character. Loved him. Dustin's always been my favorite, so.
Dustin's the best.
He is the best. He's just so cute, I want to pinch his cheeks.
You ever feel guilty rooting for somebody like, or not rooting, but like liking the bad guy of a series?
Never. I love Robert
Never?
Englund, and you will never tell me otherwise.
Well, I mean, you don't ever feel bad about it?
But sometimes,
True,
I
true
mean,
crime aside. True crime aside.
no, true crime, of course. I'm not a monster. No, like, sometimes, yeah, I'm like, woohoo, I want this, that, like, I have a sleeve full of Batman villains, and though it's, fake, I'm always like, I want these bad guys to win, and then sometimes I'm like, I'm kind of a dick for wanting that.
I'm kind of a dick for rooting for that.
But they're so cool, and Batman's just trying to save Gotham.
That's funny.
Sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, no, fuck the bad guy. The good guys. Let the bad guys win.
I'm that's one of the things I liked about like Devil's Rejects was just the first House of a Thousand Corpses. I wanted them to escape badly, but Devil's Rejects, I was legitimately rooting for the bad guys who
Yeah.
somehow swapped around and became the lesser of two evils
Same.
for that movie. It was weird. It's weird.
I think that comes with my love of Captain Spaulding. So
Great character.
he is. He's one of the best. I love
Great
Sid Haig.
actor. Great actor.
He was a freaking legend. My heart is still broken over losing that man.
Yeah, that one was fucking rough. I'm pretty positive. My girlfriend cried over Sid Haig when she read
I
the
did. I
news.
cried.
I didn't know what had happened yet, and she started crying when she read it.
Oh.
I was like, "What's wrong?" And then she told me, I was like, "Oh my god, that's fucking horrible."
Yeah, it was horrible. But he was rad, and we had him while we had him. So
Yeah, I'm glad that. I mean, there's still a lot of movies by him that I still haven't seen before.
same.
I've got a ton of stuff that I can still go watch for the first time. So,
Mm-hmm. I mean,
but
I have
I mean,
to.
it does suck that he's gone, but got that
Yeah,
library.
yeah, but I do have to admit I have not watched Three from Hell yet because I can't bring myself to do it because he died before I had a chance to watch it, and now I'm like, I don't want to watch him, and that is gonna make me sad.
Didn't he
So
die before it was released?
yeah,
I
he
think,
died
yeah.
right before it was actually released. They had finished filming. So I haven't
Yeah.
watched it because I'm like, I don't know.
It was definitely rough, man.
Yeah, it's hard, but shit happens.
There's so many of them. Me and my girlfriend talk about who do you think will be the next one that like really hurts when they're gone? And like we sit there and think about it, and it's like I don't want to think about this anymore.
Oh no, I think about that sometimes, and
Like,
mine is Tim Curry.
oh God, don't
I'm gonna
start,
get
man. I don't
yeah.
want to do this. Let's
No,
not
we're
do
not
this.
doing it.
We're not doing this.
That's mine though.
We're
So I'm
not
always
doing
like,
this.
anytime I see like a picture of him, I'm like, he better not be dead.
No, no. Oh my God! And then when people put these fucking misleading, these
Yeah, and you're
clickbait
like,
titles on these things. Oh my God! What? You click on
and
it
they're
and it's
fine.
like, oh, he signed an autograph today. It's like, fuck you, the Sun. Fucking
Yeah, no,
horrible,
I
man.
hate those. It's like, oh, I almost cried.
I was crying, and as I read it, it's like, God damn it.
Perfectly fine.
Oh man.
Oh,
I like that we both have this whole horror thing going.
yes,
Um, I think that we should do it again.
I think we will do it again.
What do you say about another episode sometime, eh?
Yeah,
Eh?
no, let's do it. I will spruce up my background. Sorry. A little
No, it
lame
looks
right
good.
now.
It looks like a good setting for a horror movie.
The house is old as fuck.
Well,
It's my house, and I love it.
I am happy that we got to do this, and
Yes.
we have gotten to know each other a little bit better. I mean, we already know each other, but
Well,
in doing so, we've kind of introduced ourselves to the
yeah.
audience. If anybody has any questions about either myself or Kill a Cat or the rest of our team, which we are still building. We have one member. We're still looking for others. Um, and if you guys ever want to talk to us, you can always get in our inbox or you can get in the comments in our posts. Um, we love would love to talk to all of you. If you are a member of the fellowship, you know where to find us regularly. We're
You know
always
where.
there.
Mhm.
Um, if you want to join the Discord, the link is in the Facebook page. We're on all socials, uh, but we'll definitely do this again. Uh,
Yes.
Episode 0 has been fun. Killer Cat, thank you so
Oh,
much for fucking joining me.
oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
It's
fun to
gonna be
keep
fun.
doing this. All
For
right,
sure. I can't wait.
much love. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.